episode 012, February 18, 2020. I'm your host, Wasabi Ice Cream, joined by Rick.
Hello, nice to meet everybody. I guess re-meet everybody. It's been a minute since I was on a podcast.
Well, it's been a minute since we've done this podcast, but that's all right, because we're not missing a beat.
No, sir. Life got in the way. I got married, and now we're good to go. It's nothing but games here going forward. Let's do this.
Yes. How's the married life treating you?
It's fun, man. Like, you know, I didn't just jump into it. I love my wife. I knew I loved my wife for a while. Just a matter of time that this happened. Plus, like, now that we got it, like, legal, my insurance, like, cut in half. So that's fantastic.
Always good.
It's already saving me money. Yeah.
Did she game too? Or she kind of
occasionally. She loves Sonic. That's her big thing. She's not a huge gamer though. She likes Sonic. She's excited for the new Animal Crossing. That's her big thing.
Damn, you know what? I reminded you that Sonic movie came out.
Yes, it did. I wanted to watch it on Valentine's Day, but our schedules didn't plan out, so we're probably going to watch it next week. I heard it's not bad.
Yeah, I heard,
which is surprising.
Yeah, like they're saying, it's like the best video game movie ever.
Which is like astounding. I mean, that surprises me that how well that movie is doing.
I mean, it's a pretty low bar, but
yeah, it's a very low bar, but like, it might be worth checking out.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yeah. Also, I'm a huge, like, Jim Carrey is just great. It seems like a perfect role for him. So just to be himself.
I could have like lived to be 100, and I would have never thought about having Jim Carrey play Dr. Eggman. But now that it's a thing, I'm like, why didn't we do this sooner? You know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It seems so obvious, and he was the best part of the trailer. So we'll see. Maybe it's awesome. Maybe it's shit. Maybe it's pretty good for what it is. I'll watch it next week and give my opinion.
All right.
Well, in the meantime, though, Sabi, what have you been up to, man? Anything new?
Oh man, just I've been dabbling in, like, there's a huge Chinese handheld video game market that I've been dabbling in.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, just China is just banging out these like small, cheap, handheld, low power stuff, just retro gaming handhelds.
Dude, I fell down that same rabbit hole, just looking up all these weird like homebrew, like portable, like emulator machines, right?
Yeah, so like I got one called the RG350, the Retro Game 350. Like, they have real dumb names. There's like a Game Kitty 350. There's a Pow Kitty. Like, they're all really kind of dumb names, but like they're really good.
I just looked up that RG350, and I was just reading about that like not even 2 weeks ago.
It's super impressive. So like it's like $90 if you like import it from Japan or China.
Yeah.
And it's super impressive because it's got a full suite of controls. It's got 2 analog sticks, R2, L2. The analog sticks click in. Like, you wouldn't expect them to click in, but they click in. So you got R3, L3. It's got rumble support.
Yeah, I was reading about that. That's impressive. See, I wanted to get into something like that, just like a fun little hobby to like mess around with. Upload some emulators to it, play around with it.
It kind of like got me just reinvigorated my like spirit to play, because I've been looking for something I can like put in my pocket and play some handheld stuff. Like, the Switch just it's not small enough to kind of do it. And also you kind of, to really do it the way you want to do it on the Switch, you got to like hack your Switch, which I did. Because, you know, Nintendo's not providing, we'll talk about it later, but Nintendo's just not providing the classics that you really want.
Yep. I have a lot to talk about that when we get to that, man.
So it's just good.
But no, that's great.
And like I've been using the 8-bit do like SNES controller they've got, which also
that same one. Like I think I showed it to you, right? And you bought it off Amazon like the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic controller, and I've been using it on my phone But the problem with that is like the controller's too light and the phone's too heavy. So when you like, they sell this clip attachment you can put your phone on the controller and just mount it to the controller. But
Yeah.
like the phone is way too heavy and it gets like top heavy. It's not really comfortable. But so like there's
Yeah,
all
that's why like I wanted that RG 350, so I have like this dedicated machine that's just for gaming. I don't have to worry about killing my phone battery
yeah.
and having to carry around like two separate fucking devices.
And the cool thing about it is it's completely open source. So like the community behind
Yes.
it just they're just constantly pushing out software and updates and stuff like that.
Yeah, that was the main draw for me. It's like all you really need is like a computer and like a memory stick and you're good to go.
Yeah. So there's another one that just came out called the Odroid Go Advance, which is
Oh, Droid Go?
Odroid Go Advance. It just came out.
I'm gonna look that up right now.
It's one that it's cheaper because they make you build it yourself. But I don't know, it's kind of like fun to kind of do stuff like that sometimes. But that one's only around like $50, and it's more powerful, so it can do like some N64, it can do some Dreamcast.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, it's like this stuff is like crazy, man. So
Yeah, it looks dope.
I've been in this hole for a while, and I'm like, yeah, I might just like get like 12 of these
Like
just
I,
to.
Nah, I hear you. Man. I just fell into it like a little while ago. Nothing serious, but like I was like looking at like YouTube reviews and pricing them, and I got the thought in my head. I was like, this isn't bad, but I can't justify it to my wife.
Yeah, yeah. It's good.
Maybe I could just
They've
don't
got
tell
stuff
her.
in like they've got stuff in every like price range. You can get a cheap one for like $20. It just does like NES and SNES, and it just be good for that.
Yeah, but like I'm gonna want that more expensive one. You know, I'm gonna want to play
Yeah,
like PS1 games. I'm gonna want to play Dreamcast games.
yeah. So
This is why I suck at like shopping for stuff because I justify in my head paying more than I should for features I might
yeah.
not use. You know what
But
I
then,
mean?
like they have there's ones that like have the power to do all that stuff, but they don't have the control. Like the Odroid Go Advance has like the power to do that stuff, but it only has one analog stick. It only has
Yes.
one set of triggers.
Yeah.
Like I
Yeah, I was
like
looking at that right now.
there's not a perfect device that has the control scheme and the power to do it all. Like the RG 350 has the control scheme, but it doesn't have the power to like it can just do PS1 like up to a certain point. Like I think like the really high intensive games like Tekken and Bloody Roar, it can just do those, but yeah, like it doesn't have the power to really just take it to the next level.
Yeah. See that's my problem. I want something that's gonna do it all, and I'm gonna be paying a lot for something that's gonna do it all.
Yeah,
And I can't justify that to my wife. She's gonna be like, why'd you spend like $300 to play games you liked when you were like 10 years old?
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that's what I've been doing. I've been playing some old shit, some nostalgic shit like Donkey Kong Country 3, which is one of my favorite games of all time. I know a lot of people don't like that one specifically.
I don't hate it because like it kind of does the Rayman Legends thing where like every level is like its own gimmick and it doesn't really reuse gimmicks if it doesn't have to.
Yeah,
And then like that's pretty cool, but I haven't played it since I was a kid, so
yeah. It's the one with
I can't speak to it.
it's the one where you play the baby and
Yeah.
the girl Dixie. Is that her name? Yeah,
Is it Dixie? I think it is Dixie.
yeah. I don't know.
Right? The one with the pigtails? No, that's
Yeah.
Donkey Kong 64.
No, she has the
Hold on.
ponytail and she can like do like a helicopter thing and like float.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
See, this is why I need this thing, so I can like play those old games and see if they still hold up.
Well, I've been playing
I'll
a
tell
lot of
that to my
that.
wife. I'll be like, let me buy one, please. I need to play Donkey Kong 3 again.
And then my favorite rhythm game came out on Steam finally. DJ Max Respect.
I saw your review on that, and I almost bought it just from reading your review.
It's the game's phenomenal. It's still in early access on Steam just because they have to like I don't know why they can't just like port the P. It's already on PS4. It's been on PS4 for like 2 years, 3 years now.
Yeah.
And they basically did port a lot of that game. Like all the music charts or all the note charts are all the same, just ported for PS4. But they added like specific hardcore charts just for keyboard. And they added like an era
Oh,
mode.
that's really cool. So you get like, so it's not like a straight copy of the console version because they all added these new charts for keyboard controls.
Yeah, but only a few songs have them. Yeah, so far, and they added like new track, like they added that Marshmallow track. They added some Porter Robinson tracks. So there is new stuff in there. There's online mode that has up to I think 8 players online. So it's really like it's gonna be like the definitive rhythm game on PC. I think once it's all set.
Oh yeah, it's like the rhythm game you're gonna compare like all other rhythm games to.
Yeah. And I've been playing it for like 10 years since like on PSP was out.
Oh geez, I didn't know the franchise has been around that long.
I was been around very long, even before that. So like, I don't know, it's very nostalgic for me. Like, I basically grew up on it.
Fantastic. I've just been playing the same old shit for the past because with work and everything,
Yeah,
it's hard to like get into something new. You know, putting in that time and effort to play something new.
yeah,
So I kind of just fall back into like what's comfortable. And I've been playing a lot of Diablo 3. That game's been out forever, but it's
Good
comfortable.
stuff.
I like it.
good stuff.
I finally got into the new Monster Hunter World expansion, playing that with my family. That's fantastic.
No, I haven't tried that one yet.
Oh, it's so good. I'm a long time ride or die Monster Hunter player, man, and I
Yeah.
love it. A lot of people shit on the new Monster Hunter because it's too easy, but it's like, dude, fuck you. Like it's so much better now. Anyone who tells me that the older games are better, like objectively, doesn't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know about all that. I mean, okay, the one problem I have with the new Monster Hunter is that it just fucking like it pretty much it's pretty much just follow the line and here you are. Like it guides you by your like pretty much holds your hand straight to the monsters, right?
That's true, but you got to like earn that. You know, you got to fight the monster a couple times, investigate it, find footprints, and then you can unlock the ability to just follow it directly. Which I love that because you're not stuck like having it from the beginning. You know, it's not this easy. It's not this easy follow the leader type of situation. You have to earn that first.
Yeah.
And what's great is that Monster Hunter is a game about grinding. So when you're grinding, trying to fight this monster over and over and over again to get the right equipment, it's good that you can unlock that ability, just follow it, go where it is, kill it, and get your shit taken care of.
Yeah. Yeah, that was always the thing I liked about Monster Hunter was that like no other because there's a bunch of clones out there, but they never like there's an essence in Monster Hunter that just no one else has ever like just the way the monsters behave, the way they move, like they act like wild animals. Like it's a
Yeah, and that's what I love more about this one because like in the older games, like the monsters didn't fight quote unquote that often. They just kind of did attacks at each other, the same attacks they do to you, and sometimes they hit each other with it. But with this new game, you actually see them get into turf wars. They're fighting. They have specific animations when they interact with each other. Like it's awesome, and I love that for it.
there's a
And I've played some other Monster Hunter clones. I played Soul Sacrifice. That was okay. I played Freedom Wars on PS Vita.
yeah like
That was
like
okay.
free like all these games like even got like God Eater I played a lot of like these games never like they're more like action oriented which is fine but they never make it fun to actually fight the thing. It's always just like oh yeah I'm gonna just fucking slash my sword until it dies. And the only game I feel like came close is Epic's. Have you played Dauntless?
Yes, I played that for a little bit,
I feel like
and
it's the only one that comes even close to being like, because even the weapons in Dauntless are like, oh, these are pretty unique. There's like an axe that like in one mode it's just an axe, but in like if you switch it up, it turns into like a gun. I don't know if it's the axe that does that, but like it's got like really unique weapons. The monsters are really unique, and
yeah, and I did play it for a little bit because it was on the Epic Store, and I figured I'd give it a try because this was like last year when they announced it was coming to Switch.
Yeah.
and I've always wanted to try it. So I played it on Epic, and it's not bad. It's a good game, but if you already have Monster Hunter like I do,
Yeah.
there's not a lot of reason to play it. You know what I mean?
I think it's just it fills another spot that like if you're not huge into what Monster Hunter does, there's an alternative that's like a little lighter, but easier to get into, not as
Yeah,
hardcore. Like this Monster Hunter is a lot of like you're like committed to your weapon swings and stuff like that. I think Dauntless you can like dodge cancel out of a lot of stuff and
yeah. That's one cool thing I liked about it. It was more. I don't want to use the word casual. It's a dirty word. There's nothing wrong with like being more reactive,
yeah.
but that's kind of what it is, and it's not a bad game. I don't want anyone to sound like
They
I'm
just make
shitting
it
on
they make it
Dauntless.
easier. They make it easier to get
Yeah,
into.
yeah. It's a good like middle ground. If you like that kind of style,
But and
try Monster
also
Hunter, and you might not go back to Dauntless. But you
also
might like
like
yeah.
I gotta give Epic kudos where it's due because like they're like pioneering the that they're breaking the walls down like on the like it's open, it's completely open, so like PS4 can play with Xbox and PC and Switch, like everyone can play together.
Yeah, that was the main reason I tried Dauntless because I was like, when I found out it was coming out on Switch and I found out I can carry my progress over, I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
I'll try it on my PC, and if I like it, I'll play it on my Switch. But it's not a bad game, but I already have Monster Hunter, and that fills in that hole for me.
Yeah.
But I could see the appeal of Dauntless. I mean, it's free to play. It gets you that Monster Hunter feel, that hunting game feel. So, like anyone listening right now, if you've always wanted to try Monster Hunter or any type of hunting game, but you don't want to commit to it, try Dauntless, see how you like it. And if you do like it, give Monster Hunter a shot. You might like that too.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh man, great! I think we got all caught up. You want to move on to the news?
Sure.
Fantastic. So first up, we kind of referenced this a little bit, but the new NES and Super NES games coming out for Switch Online. So we have four games. We have Poppin' Twinbee and Smash Tennis for SNES. And NES, we have Shadow the Ninja, which does look like a lot of fun, and Eliminator Boat Duel, which looks okay. All four of these games I've never heard of, except for Twinbee. But this
um,
specific version of Twinbee I've never heard of before.
these are all hot bangers. What do you mean you never heard of them before? I know. Okay, so Eliminator Boat Duel. I think I know that game from. It was on Rare Replay. I think it's a Rare game. Uh,
Oh, really?
yeah, I think that's the same game. I think. I'm not totally sure, but
I'm gonna fact check you really quick.
I think that's on there. It's like so it's like a racing boating game where but it switches modes. So like in one mode you're racing, you'll do a race, and then like the next objective would be like, hey, shoot down all these fucking mines or rescue all these people, and then like the next mission would be, oh, here's another race, motherfucker, and then like it switches in between stuff, but
See that sounds cool. I'm like looking at some of the reviews for it, and they're it's reviewed pretty well, so it might be a fun like retro hidden gem. But my big concern is that like these games look like fun. Don't get me wrong; they look like fun games to get into. But my big concern is that's not going to convince anyone who doesn't already have Switch Online to dip into it. You know what I mean?
yeah, but like I feel like it's not. This isn't video. I feel like it's not the reason why. It could be a reason why. Like Nintendo could like be like, oh yeah, we're adding the entire North American NES library, and then that would be a reason to get into Switch Online, like just for that. But I feel like what they're offering with this right now, these classics are not worth subscribing just for. Like just for these games, it's not worth subscribing. Actually,
Yeah.
like the gap was a little wider last time I looked at it, but like the like to dislike ratio on their YouTube video they put up, They've got like 7,000 likes and 11,000 dislikes.
Oh shit.
And like in the comments, I guess I don't know what the messaging was before this, but it seemed like a lot of people were expecting Earthbound.
Which, like, I don't know where that came from because I was seeing the comments too, and it just seems weird for me that people expect Nintendo to just blow their load right now in like what, the third year the Switch has been out.
Yeah, which I mean, like, I can see where they're coming from because like if you remember before all this they started putting this stuff out, they were going like real aggressive against like ROM websites
Yeah.
and like people were like, oh, they're taking all this stuff down because they're gonna give us what we want, but then like they give us this shit, and this is not, people were like, oh, this is
Yeah, which I could see the frustration in it because now that there's no alternative to play it. I mean, Earthbound, as an example, is a great example because the only way to legally play that now is to buy a Switch or an SNES Classic. If you don't have that, buy the SNES version on your 3DS or on your Wii U.
yeah,
Or you can buy like an old copy for like $300. I think those are the only like legal ways to play it now.
yeah. I feel like if and Nintendo could do this, they could just open up like a ROM, their own like NintendoRoms.com, and be like, hey, here's, you want to pay for this stuff, here's a legal way to do it. Or if like Sega did like, SegaRoms.com and just said, oh yeah, you want, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, here you go. 17 cents. I don't know what the rate is for these, but like, you know what I'm saying? They can just offer up like straight ROM downloads and like do it.
I think definitely could, and I think the thing that makes them so hesitant is, unlike Sega, Nintendo is still in the console market, and I think that's their big concern, that they don't want to like cannibalize themselves by releasing these games on another platform that isn't a Nintendo platform. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the same time, they're not like, you're saying they want people to like buy the console to play the games instead of just playing it on whatever. Yeah. Like that's very Japanese of them. And like that would be their downfall. Because if you look at someone like Microsoft, like with the Xbox, like they're saying, "Hey, we're going to give you these games, play them wherever the fuck you want." Like Game Pass, you just play it on PC. Hey, here's Minecraft, play it on Switch, or I feel like the way forward in this like especially this year would be, hey, just here's the games, even with the xCloud, streaming and stuff like that. Like, hey, you got an Android, play our games on it. Like, it's gonna be like a real software heavy year, I think.
Oh, I know, and I'm excited to see what happens. I don't think like exclusives are going to be completely extinct this year, but I see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
I definitely think that exclusives are going to be kind of like an archaic format in a couple years. I don't see exclusivity or software exclusive being a thing for much longer. But for now, it seems like Nintendo and especially PlayStation are trying to ride that out as long as they can.
I think PlayStation is gonna have like, what? I got another point to make. I'm gonna finish. So these NES and SNES games are gonna be added tomorrow, right?
Yes, they're going up tomorrow. So if you have Switch Online, you can download them tomorrow and play them. I like the Twin Bee games. They're really fun. Like space shooters, kind of like Gradius God, I'm blanking right now, but you know what I mean. Like,
Yeah,
they're really fun. Semi bullet hell, light bullet hell shooters they're fun.
yeah,
I would recommend Twin Bee. If you download these games, play that first. And play the other ones. I mean, fuck it. If you have Switch Online already, they're all free, so give them all a try. You have no reason not to.
yeah.
Anything specifically in that list, though, that you recommend, Sabi?
I mean, it's another tennis game. I know Eliminator Boat Duel is it's pretty fun. So you can try
See,
that
there you
out.
go. Yeah,
but I just
Eliminator Boat Duel looks dope.
it's like limited fun though. It's like, okay, I did that. Moving on. Like it's not a lasting kind of fun. But
I mean, like if you're already playing for if you're already paying for the Switch Online, I mean, just try it. It's
yeah,
there.
yeah,
And it's not like you're gonna do anything else with Switch Online because the net code's fucking garbage for everything you try to do on Switch Online. Jesus.
it's a sadness, man. It's a sadness. Do you think they know? Do you think Nintendo knows and it's just like, hey, it's only $3 or however much it is. Like, get what you pay for, motherfucker.
That's gotta be it, dude. I can't imagine because it's like $3 a month, or if you want, you can pay like $20 a year. And on top of that, they're offering all these like Nintendo games to play with it. I can't imagine that $20 a year or $3 a month stretches that far to like make a competent online system. Either that or Nintendo doesn't know what they're doing when it comes to online play, which wouldn't surprise me if I found that out.
Yeah.
But whatever. Um, I can't even think of like any really online Switch games that are worth playing except for like Smash Brothers and maybe Splatoon if you're into Splatoon.
Yeah, those are the two that I would play, like Smash, Splatoon, and Mario Kart.
Yeah, exactly. I can't think of anything else. And if it's, I mean, $20 a year to play those three games online, even if it's not the best way to do it, is still, I mean, it's not bad. It's $20. Who doesn't have $20 a
Do you
year?
have to play? Do you have to pay to play like like free games like Fortnite or any of that
Certain
shit?
games, I think Fortnite doesn't require it, but I know games like Paladins do. I think it's like up to the developer.
That's fucked up.
Because here's where it gets tricky, because like games like Dauntless, for example, like use in Fortnite, they have their own servers where you're able to play with like other non-Switch owners.
Yeah.
But I think if it's like peer-to-peer Switch to Switch, you might need to pay for Switch Online. Again, I'm guesstimating. I have no idea. I don't work for Nintendo, but that's how I think it works.
Well, there's if you need more reason to renew your Switch Online subscription, there's four hot bangers for NES and SNES coming at you.
Exactly. And on lighter news, we got Half-Life Alex has a release date now, which is
Yes.
fantastic. March 23rd, it's coming out.
Yes.
Which I don't know about everyone else, but I'm excited for Half-Life Alex. I don't even have a VR, but I really want to play it. I want anything Half-Life related. Just give it to me. What about you?
Okay, so you're a big Half-Life fan then.
Yes, I love Half-Life. I played Half-Life 2 a lot more than Half-Life 1. But yeah, like give me an example how much of a Half-Life fan I am. When Enter the Freeman like came out, I legit put it in my cart. I was ready to buy it when I found out it was Half-Life related.
I don't even know what that is.
But then I saw the reviews, and something in my head told me like, "Hey, look at the reviews first. It's too good to be true." And a new Half-Life game out of nowhere. I looked at the reviews, and that's when I saw the reviews for it, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I'll wait and buying this." And I'm glad I did. But no, dude, no shit. It was in my cart. I was ready to drop the money for it. I was ready to download it and play it. But a voice was like, "Look at those reviews," and I'm glad I did because it's
It's
not even a
weird
real
because
Half-Life game.
like it's weird because they Valve just allows like it seems like they just allow anyone to make a Half-Life game. Is that how it?
That's like, yeah, that's like the precedent it sets. I'm like, how hard is it to like get Valve to like give you their IP?
Because yeah, there's a lot of like Half-Life related stuff on Steam, but then you find out that like this has nothing to do with like Valve has nothing to do with this. This is not.
Exactly.
But then they'll go like, "Oh, this is a spin-off. This is you were wondering what Alex was doing and between episode 2 and 3, well, here you go." And it's like, "What? This ain't it." Or like, yeah.
I'm still excited for it though because like hopefully, fingers crossed, probably won't make a difference. But if it does do well, we might see a new Half-Life game, and I'm part of that meme. Like I really want Half-Life 3 to happen.
Yeah. So like this one, so Half-Life Alex is set between Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. Um what does that mean?
Yes,
So
and
I
it
did not
looks awesome.
I have not played I played only a little bit of Half-Life. Half-Life 1 and then like a little bit of Half-Life 2. So I didn't
That's
really.
fine. I mean, controversial opinion. I think two is way better than one, but like mechanically, I think it's better. A lot of people argue at with me, but
Is that
I like two a lot
controversial?
more than
I feel
one.
like that's the. Is that
I mean, you
controversial?
get you get those people everywhere, man. I
Uh,
mean, you get those people who just want to shit on the new thing, and it bums me out because like Half Life is a great franchise, and to see Valve not doing anything with it drives me crazy. Like I'd rather see a new Half Life game than a Left 4 Dead game or a Portal game. And we
yeah.
got it with Half Life Alex, and that's what's crazy to me though, because like when Half Life came out, it was supposed to show off this new their new physics engine. That was a big thing for physics based gameplay that wasn't a thing before Half Life.
Yeah.
And it's cool that they're kind of doing that with VR. You know what I mean? Like they're using this as a way to like springboard VR, show off what VR can do.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
kind
think that's
of.
what's yeah.
I got a Vive when it came out, and I no longer have it because I didn't really use it that much. Because I don't know, there was just the stuff that was coming out was just not very groundbreaking. You just saw the same shit. It was like, oh, here's like a shooting gallery. It was just basically just different takes on shooting galleries. It was like, oh, here's a zombies thing, or here's a really cool gun simulator where you have to like take the clip out and put the clip in and cock your gun back and keep track of how many shots you have in your clip and stuff like that, and aim down the sights. And oh, the sights work because it's VR. And like it was a lot of stuff like that that was cool, but like the novelties kind of wore off for me.
Yeah, and that's what's cool to see because like I personally think VR could do a lot for gaming if it got in the right hands, and it's cool to see what Valve does with Half Life with it. I mean, we'll see. Maybe it'll suck, and it'll just be like another it'll be like another like showcase of all the stuff we've already seen with VR. Or maybe it will be like a legitimately like really good game, and we might get more Half Life games out of it. We'll see. It
Yeah.
just sucks that I have to experience the story secondhand from watching YouTube videos or something because I don't have a Vive.
Yeah, maybe I'll probably get another VR set here at some point, but I got to see how well this is doing it, because I mean it's Valve doing it, so you know they've got like, and even in the trailer it showed you like the big thing for me about VR is like being able to just like touch things. Like it sucks in VR games where like, you know, there's a Coke can on the table and I can't just fucking knock it over, you know, like.
Yeah, and it's cool to see that because like it seems so obvious now, but Half Life would make a great VR game with the way everything's interactable, how the physics engine works, the fact that when characters talk to you, they like turn to you and look at you, like they
Yeah.
could make a pretty effective VR game. And I don't know, I haven't Valve hasn't made a new game in God forever. I think the last game they did was that card game that nobody's playing anymore.
Yeah, well, no, they are they. Did they do Dota Auto Chess? Is that like Valve in studio, or is that like.
I have no idea. They give their IPs to just
Yeah,
so many people. It's hard to keep track of like who developed what.
yeah, but I think it's called Dota Underlords. That might be Valve, but I don't know who the fuck is on that. But
Uh, Someone listening to this will fact check us and tell us we're idiots because we're wrong anyway. So
but yeah, Half Life Alex. I didn't write the date. What was it? March 20 something.
March 23rd.
March 23rd, and that'll be on Steam. That is a full
March
price game.
23rd. Yeah.
Yes,
Which like
$60.
I don't mind it because like if it's worth $60, who cares, you know?
If it's worth it, yeah, I definitely think you should price your game what you think it's
Yeah.
worth. Like, there's a lot of indie devs out there that are like, hey, you know, this took us this long to make, so we're gonna charge you like that game, the compulsion game, We Happy Few came out, and we're like, oh well, since you know, we're indie, so we're gonna charge you $30, and then like later on, like a year later, 2K Games bought them, and it's like, oh, now we're $60 now because we got a publisher now. And I'm like, no, that's not how this works, man. Charge
Well,
like.
with We Happy Few, with their defense, the publisher footed a lot of the bill, and the game went from like being a randomly generated like survival game to actually having a story.
Yeah,
Now,
but
is
it's
the game
still
worth
shit
$60
though.
in the end? I don't know. I never played it. It doesn't look like it's worth $60 to me, but I'm not a developer, so I don't know.
It was still shit though. That's the thing. Is like,
I love that. Just it's still shit, so it doesn't matter.
yeah. But I mean, you know,
That's a bummer. I remember being excited when that game got announced. I like the original concept of it, where it was like this weird, like little survival game,
but that wasn't even
and
the
I
that
feel
wasn't even the concept. The concept was like, because if you remember in the trailers and shit, there was no inkling of it being like a survival game. It was all like, hey, take this drug, and everyone's on drugs, and look how fucking trippy we are and happy we are. Yeah, you love it.
I thought that was the survival aspect of it, wasn't it? Like you take the drug to like kind of blend
That's what
in.
it ended up being, but no one like knew that like, oh, you're gonna have to like eat food and like watch your like. No one knew how many
I hear
meters
ya.
that game. They didn't know how many meters that game was gonna have.
I hear
Like
ya.
fucking yeah. So, but
I hear ya. That's a bummer. I mean, we'll see what happens with that franchise. Anyway, Half Life Alex is coming out. That looks like from the trailer, looks like it's worth $60, but we'll see if it's
yeah,
really worth it. If everyone's talking up its praises,
and it says
that
full
that could be
length.
what. Yeah,
Which is another thing. A full length game in VR is kind of weird because you got this
yeah.
headset
Because
on. It's hard to fathom. Like, oh yeah, we're gonna be in here for 16 hours, or however long the game's gonna be. Like,
exactly, and I love seeing that. Like, I love seeing because when VR got announced, and when I first tried it, I was like, holy shit! Like, there's a lot of potential here. I think like this could be like the next big step in gaming if it's done correctly. And so far, it hasn't been. Like you said, everything that's
yeah,
come out has been like kind of gimmicky shovelware.
yeah,
I
but
can't think of like anything that's come out that's like got me really excited. Where like, oh, I have to buy a VR now, like Half Life Alex did. You know what I mean?
just interest. Like VR chat is probably the most interesting thing I did in VR. Just because like the experiences you can have in that is just you can only have in that. Um,
That's true. And it's kind of hard to tell though if it's there on its own merits or if it's just the memes at this point. But
yeah, yeah,
I mean, whatever's clever, man. If it's getting people buying your product, who cares?
yeah. But yeah, I'm excited. March.
But yeah, Half Life. Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say like March is just like stacked. Everything's coming out in March.
Yeah, man. Like, got Half Life Alex is coming out in March. God, what else is coming out? I'm blanking right now.
Doom is coming out. Final Fantasy remake I think is in March.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You're right. That's gonna be fuck. Can we talk about that really quick? Because I'm really excited for it, but at the same time, I go back and forth because half of me is like, this looks like a lot of fun. It could be a really cool game. I'm pissed off. They got to cut it into like separate parts. But the other half of me is like, well, yeah, they got to cut it. It's like 100+ hour game. So like, yeah, they got to cut it with all the stuff that they're doing. They're rebuilding it from the ground up. I don't know. What's your opinion on it?
So I did not grow up with a PlayStation. I was very much a Nintendo kid for like until like after GameCube, and then even after that, I first got an Xbox. No, I first got a Dreamcast, then an Xbox, then a PS2. So I only experienced that game at first through my friends who had a PlayStation, and even then, my first Final Fantasy game was Final Fantasy VIII. So I'm more attached to that than I am to Final Fantasy VII. That said, I am extremely positive on the changes that they're making. Like the whole
Oh, same.
turn based shit, I'm done with. Like I'm done with turn based, man. Like the whole you hit me, I hit you shit is just I'm done with, man. I can't like do that
See,
anymore.
for this game, I don't mind just because a lot of people are going to be pissed off at this, but hear me out. There's been a lot of Final Fantasy VII media, a lot of Final Fantasy VII related spin-off games,
Yeah.
and that's like the only one that was turn-based. You know what I mean? Dirge of Cerberus was like this action game that wasn't turn-based anymore.
Yeah.
Crisis Core wasn't turn-based; it was an action game too. Even all like the media that's come out after it, you know, the movies and stuff, and the little anime that have been released, like you couldn't show off like that kind of glitz and like that insanity on a turn-based game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, why can't I be as cool as it looks? And now it can
Exactly.
be.
Exactly, and that's why I don't mind. Like, I don't completely hate turn-based games. Like Persona 5 is still, I think it's a fucking masterpiece,
Yeah, okay, like
and that's turn-based.
sometimes I'll take it like where, but see, but that's more like that's a lot more strategy though. I think
Oh, I agree
like
completely.
when the strategy is there, I can take it, but when it's just oh you want to use
Yeah, I just don't
attack or
want to
magic,
mash
like
the attack button over and over
yeah.
again.
But I think
But no, Final Fantasy 7. Oh
a,
yeah,
a big thing about Final Fantasy VII is the writing. I think like wasn't the writing or translation just terrible in the original?
it wasn't terrible, but there were some questionable scenes where you're just like, "What, really?" Like the
Yeah.
story still got across, but I remember like being a kid and there was a part where like Garrett called Cloud a retard. Like that was the first time I ever heard that word. Hold on, I gotta look it up now. See if I'm remembering that correctly.
Well, yeah, but yeah, Barrett was like a fucking like very stereotypical black dude. Like, well, he was written like Mr. T kind of. He was like, "Oh, what you talking about, motherfucker? Oh, I don't give a fuck,
Yes.
motherfucker." Like that. That's all I remember from that game. That's all I remember is that like, man, Barrett's real fucking. But I liked it though. Like, I like fucking. He's like, oh, I ain't give a shit. Fuck that guy. Like, like I hope he's. I mean, like they're probably
I
not
hope
going to
they
do that
keep a
again,
little bit
but
of that. I hope
yeah,
they keep some of that camp, like just for
yeah,
fun.
yeah. But like, I never got
Which
past the first disc on that. Like, it's every time I go back to that game, it's just like, oh, I'm just like, I always bounce off of it real fast.
you're gonna laugh, but I've never played Final Fantasy 7 from start to finish. Because
Oh,
when I was a kid, I had a PlayStation growing up, but it was my dad's, so I wasn't allowed to play it. The PlayStation was his, the N64 was mine, so I never got a chance to play it. And it wasn't until like years later when it came out on Steam, I was like, okay, cool, I'll download, I'll give it a try. And I tried to play it, but for some reason I couldn't get the D-pad to work on the game. The analog stick worked just
oh,
fine, but the D-pad didn't. And most people hearing this are like, what's the problem? Just play with the analog stick. Yeah, but when you're cycling through menus with an analog stick, it feels like shit.
yeah, yeah. The same way.
And it drove me crazy. I stopped playing the game after like 2 hours with that. I couldn't do it. I might go back and I try to see if I can reconfigure it, but I've tried everything. I've tried reconfiguring the controls in the game. I downloaded Joy to Key and tried to see if I can circumvent it with that, but that still didn't work. Like nothing I did got it to work. So I might try it again later, but we'll see.
Another little
I know, like as
tangent
soon as
here. Uh,
yeah.
a lot of thing that got me back in like retro games is there's this so RetroArch is this like RetroArch is not an emulator, but it's like a front end for a suite of emulators kind of. And one of the things it adds is support for retro achievements.
Oh,
And
that's cool. Is that like community driven? Like,
yeah, it's this whole community thing where they just go back and just it's basically just like they edit memory codes and just look for certain changes in memory to say, oh hey, you collected 100 coins. Here's your achievement. So they've added a bunch of achievements for a bunch of PlayStation games, and it got me to go back to stuff like Castlevania is in there, Final Fantasy's in there. Yeah, just
see,
a bunch of
that's
stuff.
cool as shit, man. Like, I
And
love seeing stuff like that in the
it's funny that
community.
the community can do it, but fucking Sony themselves can't fucking do it. They did it on a lot of the PS2 stuff. I'll give them credit for that. But if they can do it for like PS1 as well, that gives me just
Yeah, they did, but like, it's still kind of finicky because like another small tangent. But if you downloaded any of the PS2 classics on PS4,
yeah. I know like Psychonauts I grabbed and that had achievements or trophies.
yeah, how well did Psychonauts run for you? Because like I downloaded Dark Cloud 2, and there's a lot of like really obvious like graphical glitches that are happening in that game that weren't there before.
Oh
And I think that's
weird.
something to do with the emulation. Yeah.
Yeah, Psychonauts was fine as much as I remember. Um,
Maybe just my luck then.
Weird. Yeah, I'm not sure how they're doing that. Like, I'm sure it's just like a form of emulation they're doing, but it's probably
Well, it
why.
was also like when they first started doing this whole like PS2 classics on PS4.
Yeah.
So maybe it's been patched since then. But I remember downloading it and being like, this weird like graphical thing wasn't there before. Like weird bits where like menus don't look right, or like the resolution gets like really fuzzy out of nowhere, and like parts of the HUD get cut off that weren't cut off before. It's really weird.
Shit.
It still runs fine, but other than that, it was super weird.
All right. What else? What else in news is happening? State of Decay 2.
Yes, State of Decay 2
Now, a lot
is
of
coming out.
people,
Yeah.
a lot of people, this game kind of came and went. Uh, like, I think it was,
Oh, that's an understatement. I remember it being announced with like zero people were excited for it except for Microsoft, and then it came out and nothing happened after that.
I was excited for it.
Were you really?
I was because like I don't know that first game was here's the thing so like the zombies genre is just like filled with fucking shit, but I in my opinion State of Decay was one of the outliers in that like it made like I don't know the shit you see in like The Walking Dead, it made it a reality in video games like the first time where like no one else came close to. State of Decay. It was like, oh yeah, I got this community, I got people, I care about these guys, I raised them up from nothing, and then when someone dies, they're permanently fucking dead, and you're like, oh shit, that was my best man, dude, that was my best fucking my right hand man just fucking died out there, man. I'm like, fuck, and it saves it too, so you can never go back and like you can't save scum or anything. It just fucking when someone's dead, they're dead. And I was like,
Oh, see, that sounds cool.
so
Well, there you have it, everybody. Sabi gave it the seal of approval. What do you think of State of Decay 2, though?
um more okay. So the cool thing to say the K2 did was like they had this trait system where like everyone in the game has like these traits and they're randomly generated. So like kind of like if you ever played Rogue Legacy, where each time
Yeah, I played Rogue Legacy.
yeah, each time you do a run, your character has like, hey, this character is short, this character is afraid of heights, this character is colorblind. State of K2 does that with everyone you meet in the game. So it could be like, hey, this guy is he's military trained, so he has he's really good with guns, but he's afraid of the dark, so don't take him out
Oh,
at
that's
night.
cool.
Like it does stuff like that, and it does like crazy shit that's like like some of it's like really okay, yeah, that's something you would expect, but it'll be like something that like, hey, this guy was a football pro in college, and you were like, oh, how does that like how does that contribute to anything? And but then yeah, so it's like it does like weird stuff like that.
See, that sounds awesome. Like, I might look into it now, especially with this big, like, huge patch they're doing. God, they're
Yes,
doing all kinds of stuff for it. This game came out, like, what, 2 years ago?
yeah. So the Undead Labs is labeling it as like State of Decay 2.5. That's how big like this update's supposed to be. Um, they're enhancing the graphics, the audio, quality of life changes. So one problem I had with the game was like the multiplayer. It has like jump in, jump out multiplayer, but the problem is it's like you're tethered to the other player over like a certain distance. Like
What?
it
Oh,
gives
that's
you
frustrating.
it gives you this whole open world, but like it only lets you can't go too far from the other player for whatever reason. Fucking like it's online. We both have our own console, our own system, our own screen, but we're stuck to the screen. Like we're stuck to this distance. Like it's like
See, that's really weird. I don't see any reason why I would do that. It's like a third person, like over the shoulder kind of game, right? It's not like
yeah,
a
yeah,
overhead, like twin stick type of deal.
yeah. It's not like Toe Jam and Earl, where it's fucking like, hey, you're getting off the screen. Even in Toe Jam and Earl, if you two got off the screen, it would like split the screen, and you can still go as far as you wanted. So even Super Nintendo or Genesis was doing,
Yeah.
but and then another thing about the multiplayer was only the host, like whoever was the host, would make progress in their game. Uh, so if
I
you
mean,
like,
that makes sense. Like, I don't know how you would have like two different like camps running at the same time in that game when you're offline and then online again.
yeah, but it's like resources though. Like you can like bring resources to your camp or whatever. Like you couldn't like share. There's a way they could do it that they didn't in this, and it felt shitty because it felt like, oh, I'm helping you with your shit. You're gonna help me with my shit, like that kind of thing. Like, um,
Yeah, I hear you.
but yeah, they're
I
improving
had,
the combat. They're gonna release it on Steam, and the Steam release is gonna have all the expansions, all the old shit is just gonna release on Steam, with all this new stuff included. Which is
yeah, and
cool.
that's the thing I'm excited for because I never played it, and now you're talking it up. I'm like, fuck, maybe I should give this a try, and it's only like $30.
Yeah, and also it's cross-platform, so it's on Xbox Game Pass. So if you have that, you can grab it. Um, as it's cross-platform, so even if you have it on Xbox or if you have it on Steam, you can play with everyone. Again, credit to Xbox, Microsoft for doing that. Like even like Halo, Gears of War, shit like that.
See
Like
that?
they put their shit out and it's all cross-platform.
Yeah, see, and that sounds awesome. Like to be able to have a cross-platform system like that. It sucks that like Sony's not jumping in on it with all their stuff. There's no reason they can't do that.
Yeah. But yeah, so they're calling it the Juggernaut Edition. And the store page is up for that on Steam already. And yeah, it'll be $30. So I'm excited for that because it's probably going to bring a lot of new players to the game. And just reinvigorate some activity. 'Cause it's a really good game.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. Especially with it like coming to Steam now, like everyone's gonna be jumping on that game now. Well, I mean, maybe not everyone, but we'll see. Only time will
yeah,
tell how successful that game is.
I mean, they did
I
the
mean, it
same
sounds like
thing.
fun. Fuck, I'm
They,
kind of upset I missed out on it, if I'm being honest.
they did the same thing with the original State of Decay. Like it was Xbox exclusive, Xbox 360 exclusive, and then the definitive edition. Well, no, it was the day one survival edition. Came out on Steam like 3 years later, and then that's when people like found out like, oh, this is a really good game. But that one didn't have multiplayer. This one does. So check it out. That'll be
Okay, well that
March.
makes sense then. It'd be cool to see then when that release comes out. When we get this, that's just great if you haven't bought it yet. So someone like me who hasn't bought the game yet,
Yeah,
but has a friend who tells him how good it is, now I can go in, drop $30. I get the game, all the DLC, and this like enhanced content.
yeah.
That's pretty great.
But it's also on Xbox Game Pass, so you can pay $30 or you can just pay like $3 and and play it that way. So
I see. There you go.
yeah, that'll be March 13. That's coming out.
There we go. March 13th, State of Decay 2 Juggernaut Edition. I'm looking forward to the Steam release. Game Pass sounds pretty cool, but I don't know. I can't justify, like, I don't play games as much as I used to, so I can't justify paying a subscription
Yeah, but
for
here's the
games I'm
thing
not going
though.
to play that
Here's the
much.
thing. Here's the thing though. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
All right, let's hear it.
If you know you're not going to play it that much, why pay $30 just to like try it out and be like, you know what, I'm just bouncing off this, rather than paying like $5 and being like, play it as much as you want. Even if you do end up canceling it within that first month, it was just $5. You got to try it out, and it's not just that game you're getting. You get that and everything else is on Game Pass. So
That's fair. And Game Pass is on PC now, too, right?
yeah, and it's on PC, so it's
See, that's amazing to me because, like, I literally have no reason to buy an Xbox now. Like,
that's why I sold my Xbox. I sold my Xbox because all those games are on PC now. So
exactly. And
it's
there's no
cross
reason to do
platform.
it. Exactly.
You don't need to pay for Xbox Live subscription. All those games you just play online for free. I mean it's one hell of a deal. So
It definitely sounds like PC players are getting the better end of the deal then. Like we're getting the better version of the game. We're getting it for the same price, if not cheaper than what Xbox players are paying for.
Yeah.
And on top of that, we don't have to pay to play online.
The only downside is the selection on PC is not the same as what's on console. Like console gets a lot more games and shit.
Well, that's true, but like, I don't know. I was never a big Xbox guy. I had a 360 when I was younger, but kind of moved up to PlayStation a little after. And the only games, like when the Xbox One was announced and years later, the only games I wanted for it were Killer Instinct, Sunset Overdrive, the Halo Master Chief Collection, Gears of War, and those are all on PC now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like there's no reason for me personally to go get an Xbox.
The only thing I miss on PC that Xbox had was the classics, the 360 games.
I'm sorry, you cut out. I couldn't hear that.
Oh, my bad. The only game I miss on PC that the Xbox had was the classics, like the Xbox 360 classics, like the Rare Replay stuff. Like I bought Rare Replay on Xbox One, and that's not available at all on PC.
Yes. Okay. That I'll give you that one. Like that's one. My dad had an Xbox, and I bought Rare Replay specifically so I can play it when I hang out with him.
If I can get some form of Perfect Dark, on PC, and I'm not talking because that 360 version was like so much better. It had dual analog stick controls and shit like that. Like if you go back to that N64 version and try to play that, which I have, and try to play that like a modern game, it's just it doesn't do it.
No, it's fucking awful, and like it sucks to play. Nobody admits that. My buddy, who if we have any like longtime listeners here back on Retro Byte, Jimmy, he was a huge fan of like GoldenEye and Perfect Dark. And I tried playing it on N64, and I'm like, dude, why? Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure it was fun when it came out, but like now it doesn't age well.
Yeah.
It does not age well at all.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's one of the things that if they like announce some like Xbox 360 classics on PC, I will fucking fillet Phil Spencer on stage. You think I'm joking?
No, I know you're not joking. That's why I'm laughing so hard.
No homo, just out of respect. You deserve this.
I'll suck his dick out of respect.
Yeah.
It's a pure business decision.
Only two men I would do that for: Phil Spencer and Hideo Kojima.
Speaking of Kojima, kind of off topic here, what did you think of Death Stranding?
I think it is a phenomenal experience and a terrible video game.
There we go. That's what I wanted to hear. That seems to be the consensus that it's a great ride. It's a fun trip, but it's not fun to play. Seems to be like the consensus from everybody.
Yeah. Actually, like it's weird because playing that game, the most fun I had playing that game was playing it in the most non-fun way possible. Like
which was
like just running around and building the roads, like just collecting materials and building the fucking highway. Like, dude, building the I don't know. I got some like I don't like knowing that I made everyone else's experience better made me feel good.
I mean, that works. That's the point of the game, right?
So I would take the long way around and like climb up to the peak of a mountain just so I can place a thing up there, like a little grapple point up there, just so I can throw it down and have someone be like, "Oh, fucking yes, look at this grapple here." Like knowing that I made someone else's experience better, like I don't know, it made me feel good. But then I realized I'm not making any fucking progress. I spent 27 hours in this one section doing this shit, and I've made no progress. So at some point I was just like, okay, I gotta stop this. I gotta and then I stopped having fun. Like, it was weird, man. Like making progress in the game was not fun. Playing it in the non-fun way, or like what you would think is not fun, was fun for me, but is not. You don't make progress doing that. So I don't know. It's like a catch-22.
I mean, I think that's the point of the game, is that it's supposed to be like this. I like to call it like an interactive art piece is probably the best way to describe it, which I think Kojima would have no problem qualifying it like that too.
Yeah.
Which it sounds like fun. Everyone keeps telling me the same thing you did. Like it's a really cool, interesting game that has a lot of really cool creative ideas, but it's not fun to play.
But like but I like respect it for that because like
Yeah,
someone has to make those types of games, and it's like only it's what I expect out of Kojima. It's just
yeah.
like say what you want about like Metal Gear Solid 4. Like in my opinion, many people's opinion, it's the worst Metal Gear Solid game. But the things it was doing, like you haven't seen before, and you haven't seen it since. Still, like no game has put like an iPod in its fucking menu and been like, yeah, just load up this podcast on your iPod and play the like like no one's like it's like no one does that shit. And you know, that's why I like Kojima was like my most respected game director. Like he's
And it's cool to see him like make those decisions to do stuff that might not always be like quote unquote fun or like the safe option. I hate it when I see games and game devs like take the safe option with stuff. They try to hit like the lowest common denominator for their game and ends up making the game a little bit worse for it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like perfect examples of the Dead Space games. Weird tangent, but we'll get back on eventually. I love Dead Space 1. I think Dead Space 2 is a lot of fun. But Dead Space 3, and they made these choices to make the game more accessible, to make it hit more people, to make more people interested in it. And because of that, like the people who did love the game, like me, dropped off after 3. And that's why it did so poorly, and now no one gets a fucking Dead Space game anymore.
Or maybe not even just to make it more. I mean, I think making it more accessible was like a side. It was a side effect of making it more. They saw what was popular at the time, and they were like, "Hey, if we do this, we might be able to make a bit more money." Like, like the Call of Duty type shit of just like, "Hey, these games are really fucking popular, and they make a lot of money, so let's add some of those mechanics to our game." And it just doesn't work in that kind of
Not work.
like,
And I think that was the main problem with Anthem too, is that like I think BioWare had
oh
like a
boy, you want to
solid
talk about
idea.
Anthem, dude? I played. You want to talk about Anthem? Oh, you want to talk about Anthem? Oh, you're talking about Anthem.
Oh shit! I opened up a bag of worms here.
Oh shit, we're talking about Anthem now. Oh shit, dude, Anthem. I fucking I hate that game, dude.
I am not surprised. I'm not surprised. The way you're jumping around, it could have gone either way, but I'm not.
They okay. So I didn't put it in the news here, but they did come out and write like a fucking 12-paragraph essay on, hey, we know Anthem is bad. We're gonna fix it. It was basically what they said in many words. They're pretty much doing like a Realm Reborn Anthem. Which I hate to see. I hate to see a game fail. Like I've never wished a failure of any game. So I do hope that they can come back and be like, yo, Anthem's the new hotness right now, man. Like I hope like they can turn it around.
I do too, and it depends on how they do it. Because are they going to do like?
Well, that's what I was saying. They cannot. There's nothing in that game. They cannot salvage anything in that game. They have to.
Really? You think it's that bad? Really?
It is that bad. I mean, like the ideas they can salvage, but to be like, oh, hey, we tweaked the jetpack so that you can like fly. There's nothing. They can't tweak anything that won't have a side effect on something else.
I gotcha. It's scorched earth. Just start over. It's the best course of action.
Yeah. So like. They have to. They really have to just start over from the ground up with that shit, and just make it.
Well, let's see what happens. Hopefully, in a perfect world, you would get some huge update, and everyone who bought the game day one would get this like better version of Anthem for free.
Yeah,
but that's probably not what's going to happen. They're probably if they do the Realm Reborn, they're going to charge everyone to buy it again and basically fix it.
I mean, like if No Man's Sky can have this huge like redemption arc, like anyone can do it. Like it's.
I totally forgot about No Man's Sky, and you have it in the fucking like the chat too. But No Man's Sky is another one that like I knew when it was coming out, everyone was talking the game up, and I was like, this is way too good to be true, and it was. It was way too good to be true.
And I was telling people at the time, like, you guys are like really excited about this, but this I don't. It's not going to be what you think it's going to be. And then
I mean, there was no way it could have. The game was releasing for what, like $40 when it dropped. We already knew it was going to be like a budget game. And the team that made it had
I think
never
it's
made a
60.
AAA game before.
That
It was 60 when it came out?
game. Yeah,
Oh, I don't remember. I never bought it.
that was a 60.
You're right. It is a $60 game because my brother bought it and he was pissed off. He spent $60 on it. But like, what was everyone expecting with that game? Like, this team had never made a AAA game before. And everyone was ready for it to be like this next big thing. And then it came out and it was like, it was bad. Like, it was bad. That sucks. And again, I don't want to see a game fail. It had some good ideas, but it was great for them to see them turn it around and make a much better game out of it. And hopefully, fingers crossed, Anthem could do the same thing, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm like,
If only fucking Bethesda can do that Fallout 76.
oh, you want to talk about Fallout 76? Oh, Fallout 76 and shit. Oh shit. Oh shit. No, there's no saving that game. Bethesda is not. They're not the guys to do something like that. They will.
No, they're not. And like, it's so funny, like, to get on this tangent because like every time they try to fix it, because they tried to fix it in the past. Every time they do, they break something else.
No, they don't try to fix it. They try to put like a Band-Aid on it, and then they fuck that up. Like they try to sew it.
God.
They try to like do some patchwork, and it's like, no, you don't just put some duct tape on it, motherfucker. You actually fix the shit.
It astounds me that we live in a world where games are so much bigger and better than they used to be, and we have the ability to fix games after they've come out. And Fallout 76 is still a piece of shit. Like what, like a year and a half later?
It's because it's because like people allow this shit to happen. They've allowed Bethesda to do this for forever. Like they've allowed it's just the whole like pre-order culture and shit, like buying games before they're even out. They've already made their money. Like this, like mistakes keep getting made again and again and again. You've seen it with like Destiny 1, which is like, oh, it's like the most pre-ordered game of all time, and the game's not even out yet. You've seen it with like Watch Dogs 1, most pre-ordered game of all time. It's not even out yet. Like if we stop giving them money before they've even made the game, then they won't do this shit.
And it's so frustrating because like with Watch Dogs 1, I bought Watch Dogs 1 like years after it came out.
Yeah.
I got like the special edition for like $10 and I still fucking felt ripped off.
Yeah. It's still busted.
And it's so frustrating to see. And it sucks because games should be just amazing now, but they're not. And it's because of that.
It's just,
and let's be honest with Bethesda, like unpopular opinion here. Bethesda's games have always been like buggy and kind of rough around the edges.
Yeah.
It's just now that it's like, it's not a fun buggy that people are upset about it.
Now that their community can't fix it for them because it's an online game and they haven't released a tool, it's like, oh.
Exactly. And it's what's so shitty about it. That's like when Fallout 4 came out. I was excited for Fallout 4. And I was like, this is the same game I played like forever ago. And it's somehow even worse. Like it's more buggy.
Yeah.
Like that is a hill I'm ready to die on, that Bethesda's always had these like fucking ridiculous, rough, buggy games, but nobody cared about it until now.
Yeah, I think just people just forget like this is a fucking business. The games industry is the largest.
Okay. Rant over. Why can't we talk about things we like? Why do we always talk about things we hate?
Well, you know, you gotta have it's a duality of man. Fucking, you can't have one without the other.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus. Oh, God.
Yeah, it's a business, man. So, you know, it's people forget it's a business. Like the games industry is the largest entertainment industry, bigger than movies, bigger than music, you know, bigger than all that.
Which, like, if we can talk about that really quick, that astounds me. Like how when I was growing up, gaming was already like on the rise, but it wasn't like taken seriously. You know what I mean? I'm sure it was the same way with you.
Yeah.
Like I remember playing games when I was a kid, and my family thinking, "Oh, he'll grow out of it eventually." It's like it's a toy. Is what people thought when I play my games, and now it's like this multi-billion-dollar industry. More people spend money on games than they do going to the movies or buying movies, and
Yeah.
it's insane. It's astounding to me to see that.
It's not that hard to believe because, you know, games are just they have the opportunity to spend as little as possible or as little as they can to make the game, but still give you chances to pay for it for years after it's been, you know, you go see a movie, you know, they'll spend like, I don't know, 20 million to make a movie. And then like really it's that like first week of sales where their money is made and then like it's done. But for video game, it stays profitable for as long as they keep allowing it to be profitable.
Yeah.
So
I mean, with the rise of the internet and everything, like it's even bigger now than it ever could be. Now it's easier than ever to keep those games profitable, to update them, to do stuff like No Man's Sky did, or what State of Decay's doing, or what Anthem's going to try to do.
Yeah.
It's great, man. I love video games. I love video games so much.
Fucking video games, man.
Yeah, man. God. Anyone listening to this, sorry about that little sidebar there, but fuck it, they're here to listen to us. So
yeah.
Anyone has any opinions they want to leave, you can leave it in the chat after we put up when we put up the podcast. We'll look at some stuff, answer some fan questions if anyone's listening.
Yeah. SoundCloud.com/Gameoverse. Twitch.tv/Gameoverse. Find us. We out there.
So next in the news, we have Kingdom Come Deliverance and Aztez coming to Epic Game Store for free, which, if you're a PC gamer and you haven't downloaded Epic Games, like, why not? I mean, the games are free. You don't have to agree with their business practices, but the games are free.
There's a lot of people that are just super paranoid about, like, their ties to Tencent and China and think it's like spyware and shit like that. Which is, you know,
I can see the fear in it, but like, come on, like, is it really?
Yeah, that's
if the government. Why is the government watching you specifically? You know,
I mean, if you're really paranoid about that, do not look into the companies who have ties to China, because
exactly,
damn near all of them. So
exactly, like if you're worried about like China looking into your stuff because you downloaded Epic Games, I hope you don't have a World of Warcraft account.
Yeah, exactly.
Or Facebook.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Keep your tinfoil hat on and stay off the internet.
Exactly. Stay off the internet completely.
Yeah.
I don't know why you even have a router in your house if you're that paranoid. But these new games are coming out. I say new, but Kingdom Come Deliverance came out like, 2018, 2017?
Yeah.
I don't even know when Aztez came out.
Aztez is even older.
But they're both free. I mean, go ahead, download and give them a try. Kingdom Come Deliverance is a game I wanted to try forever, but I never got to play it. Every review kept telling me like how buggy and weird it is. That's why I never bought it. But I mean, for free, you can't beat free, man.
It's Kingdom Come is an interesting game. I don't like it. But I don't know. I like my like games to be more fantastical. And people kept saying, "Oh, if you like Skyrim, you'll love this game." But it is not. It is not Skyrim. It is not. It is more like if